The NFL owners' meetings are coming to a close, and I am joined by ESPN's Jeff Darlington. He is the NFL reporter for ESPN, so we know you've been watching this free agency period and seen all of the, what we think are exciting moves for the Minnesota Vikings. How did you view what they were able to do?
I viewed them as strategic moves. I mean, I think obviously everything's still revolving around what happens at the quarterback position, but the idea that you can sort of bolster the offensive line at the center position, that you can sort of look at the cornerback spot, make sure you make a big ad there. I just thought that in general, I felt like they actually were active with some big names, but maybe not quantity as much as quality. But I do think that you look across the league, I just felt like they made, honestly, some of the more strategic decisions.
When you see the way that the Vikings offense has been set up for JJ, how important is it for those pieces to be there when you've got a quarterback who, I mean, technically it was like a redshirt year for him? You know,
and also becoming a little bit of a run-oriented team too. I know that Kevin is talking. We'll see if he can actually stand up to that. Like I always hear former quarterbacks talk about that, and then it gets to the season and it'll be all pass plays. But the idea of setting a system in place. And when they drafted JJ, I was in Minnesota, and I remember Kevin even saying, like, we have a plan for this. It is going to be a methodical plan of progression, and they've got a great staff to do that. So I think that phase 2 is getting him on the field, but maybe not just throwing him to the wolves right away. They did, as I said, bulk up the offensive line, and I do think that they will try to be a little bit of a run-first offense. So until JJ proves that he's capable of more.
Why do you think Kevin O'Connell is getting more widely known as a quarterback developer, and kind of that being one of his signature traits?
I think anytime you've got a former quarterback in the league, it's always, for better or worse, going to be something that's attached to you. You're always going to be expected, and in part because that's part of the reason why ownership hires those people. Offense drives this league at times, and generally you see that. And with Kevin, the good thing about him is that I don't think you can overstate his leadership ability too. So yes, I think that he is a great developer of quarterbacks. And by the way, a staff full of Josh McCown. Like, you've got a staff that's capable of developing these quarterbacks. But I think the good news about Kevin is that he is much more than that. He is a leader of men. He is all the things that that go beyond just that position.
So last season, the experts, collective, had the Vikings and even Vegas really at like 6.5 wins. And Kevin talks a lot about how they overperformed what everyone else thought. They never thought that themselves, but that's what that's what was widely discussed. How do you think the national media and even Vegas might look at the Vikings this season?
I mean, the thing about the Vikings is, like, a lot of times that would be just disrespect. I think it has just so much to do with the division. I mean, you can make a case it's the best division in football, and a pretty strong case. So you're going to have so much parity within that division. The Vikings, what they proved is that we can hang with these other teams. So the tough part is that it feels like all the other teams in the division are continuing to also either get better or at least maintain. So I don't know that it's going to shift that much in terms of, because it comes back to now, you almost have to reset expectations with who's going to be a quarter. If Sam came back,
that's fair.
I think that your over-under on win-losses probably changes. But now it's like, well, what is JJ? Who is the quarterback? How do we feel about that? But I think it will be less of a surprise to people if, in fact, the Vikings are contending.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.